Yes, indeed. Welcome to the Bladtcast. I am Christian Blatt, and today we have a special Bladtcast where this is the first time we've done one of these. This is a belated film review, and I, for one, am excited to welcome officially to the Bladtcast for the first time my co-host on Who Are These Broadcasters, which is usually Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, except for when I need to do it on a Wednesday and Easy says, okay, I'll do that. But Eric Zane, I tricked you into appearing on the Bladtcast before, but this is your first official appearance being here. How does it feel?
It feels great. I don't recall the first thing that you referenced there because I don't remember. You know me. I don't remember things like that.
Well, we recorded an interview with Dennis Miller for the halftime show for Who Are These Broadcasters? Okay. And I also recorded a different interview with him. And then I was like, oh, but the one with me and EZ will probably be of interest to fans of Dennis. So I just tacked it in on there. So you did not get paid twice, though. It's just the flat rate for one interview was all you got there.
I love it either way. I'm just glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me and having me here.
Yes. Now, let's explain how this happened. You heard about this movie, Weapons, and there was a lot of talk about it, and it won an Academy Award, and, you know, all of this stuff that we'll get into. So you were like, I'll check it out. Or perhaps my personal connection might have been what really inspired you. But
it helped.
Yeah.
It helped.
So you finally saw it, and we don't want to spoil it too much, but you enjoyed the movie. So what did you go to YouTube to do immediately?
I need more information. How did the movie come about? What was the inspiration? More about Zach Kreger, more about the stars of the film, the writing process, and then theories. You know, I'm one of those people who, when I watch a movie, I can't imagine somebody watching a movie going, oh boy, okay, and then just walks away. You gotta. The world is at our fingertips. So I love the idea of, because that's the first thing you want to do when you see a great movie. You want to talk to people about it. So there you go.
And you were furious that I hadn't done a Bladtcast about it.
I couldn't believe it.
You talk about every dumb movie. I mean, every year we do a different Leprechaun movie with Husey. So you'd think that a movie like this that I really liked, we would do it. So I said, like, listen, let's do a Bladtcast for it, even though the movie came out a little while ago. We'll, you know, and this is the first in perhaps a series of belated film reviews, which basically means movies that you get around to watching when you're damn well good and ready. But I knew I needed to sweeten the pot. And the only way that I could be sure that you would say yes was to tell you that our friend Cayley, Lucy Tightbox from Once Over with Cayley, would be here. You would have said yes otherwise. So, you know, but honestly, who's going to turn down a trip, you know, a visit with that smiling face? Great to see you, Cayley.
Well, it's great to see Eric Zane as well. And hi, Christian, I guess.
Yeah, no, I get it. You see me all the time. We do too many shows together. But you and Eric Zane don't really do shows together. Have you guys ever been on stage at one, you know, together at the same time during the WATP live event?
Oh, yes.
In Ferndale?
We have been.
Oh, yes. Yes,
yeah.
she sat next to me, and I'm like, just keep her away from me. Just stay away. There's too much chemistry and tension. I'm like, all right.
That's what everybody says.
I mean, my God, it's just unbelievable.
This past year in Detroit for WATP, when Eric and I saw each other from across the room for the first time, it was like sparks were flying. It was great.
Oh.
As always, that's the way that's the way it should be. It's the way it should be.
Yes, I agree.
Well, for both of your sake, I hope that Carl and the gang end up out there again. Usually September, October is when they do it. We did our best to try and get Easy out to Vegas for Hackamania, and people did use our promo code Bears. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough of them. Husey needed to bring like, he's Irish. I thought he would have like 11 brothers and sisters. But,
yeah, but I think at the end of the day, what it shows is I'm just incredibly cheap, and no, you know, it's just not that important to me.
You're the well, I mean, it's important to see Lucy, but you know you're going to see her. You can drive to
I love
Ferndale,
Lucy,
right?
but I can watch her show. Who wouldn't want to do that? I mean, come on now.
That's fair. But I do know that you're a little disappointed that yes, you're going to see me in Vegas, Lucy, but not with Eric Zane. So it's really kind of like, all right. I mean, this isn't even a silver medal. This is like a participation trophy. It's like, oh, I'm going to be there, but it doesn't really matter.
Come on now, don't badmouth yourself. It's disgusting. Knock it off.
Yeah.
No, I'm devastated. He's right. He's right about everything.
No, I know. Yeah. Lucy and I have been in the same room 4 times, maybe. I'm not quite sure because I was in Rochester one time. So anyway, we're gonna have fun out there, and knowing us, we're gonna talk about movies. And I realized I told you this that Faces of Death comes out that weekend. And you better be really busy if you don't want to get dragged to see the new Faces of Death during Hackamania weekend.
Listen, it's Hackamania. I'm going to be drinking and hanging out with everybody. I'm not going to see Faces of Death, but I do really want to see Faces of Death.
I'll probably bring Husey with me, who will also be drinking. So, Lucy, I want you to talk about Weapons, which is a movie that came out like last fall. But we have talked about it a number of times on the nationally syndicated radio show where we talk about movies. We've talked about it there. We've talked about it on the Bladtcast. We've talked about it a few places, but we've never had an episode like this where we're diving into it. So just sort of overall thoughts and feelings for you, Lucy, about Weapons.
Yeah, well, Eric Zane earlier was talking about the director, Zach Kreger. So I had been a fan of Barbarian, which he put out in 2022. And so when Weapons was coming out, I was already anticipating it pretty heavily. I was excited about it because I thought that Barbarian had a really interesting structure to it. And I actually slept on Weapons for a while. I didn't see it until about October. So maybe, I don't know, 6 months or so after it came out, someplace around there.
But still 6 months before Zane. And by the way, it came out August 8th, so it was only 2 months. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
But people were talking so much about it. I was terrified of getting spoilers for it. This is one of those movies that I really do think there's a lot of value going into it completely blind. And I was hooked right from the beginning because, of course, the structure of the film, you get a child narrator, and then you get the stories from the versions of each of different characters. You get, different characters' stories. And they all wind together in an absolutely beautiful way. It's quite masterful and very exciting and very interesting. So I really loved the kind of mystery horror hybrid that is Weapons.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've said the most about this movie was just the level of which I was continually surprised throughout of it. When I start to think like, okay, pretty sure I know what's going on. The movie says, no, you're a dummy. You have no idea what's going on. Here's a new wrinkle. All right. So then I move on and I try and figure it out. And I think that is always fun. And by the way, in the chat is our friend, everyone's favorite potato.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Is this Two Girls, One Zane? Thank you to the great Cardiff Electric.
And now one potato.
Chris Tuthill checking in from Scotland. What a lineup, Christian. How did you trick these two into showing up for this secret club? I told them that there would be box wine, I think is the only thing. And look, Hamilton Burger is making a great point. I assume the fact that we are in mourning is why Lucy is concealing the goods today. That has to be on her channel.
I don't get it. I don't get the reference.
The goods?
No, the mourning. Why are we in mourning?
Well, he's just in Hamburger is in mourning, I think, is what he's trying to say.
You say so. He's probably because Brian Nome's in trouble. That's what he's upset about.
Is that the same thing? Yeah, I guess
it might be.
So in any event, we appreciate people being there in the chat. And I think that it's a good place to start. Lucy mentioned the narrator. And one of the things that Zane has been fascinated by, and I kind of tell this to anyone who will listen, Lucy's heard me talk about it a few times, which is, so the main kid, his name's Alex in the movie, is one of my son's best friends since they were like in kindergarten. And I heard that he was in this movie and I was like, okay, so I'll probably check it out. I've seen stuff that he's done before. And Zane, you were fascinated by this. You had so many questions about
yes. like for you, question one, were you aware of the premise of the film? Did you find out while the film was being made that he was in it? Or was it much after the fact?
No, it was after the fact, because usually he's away filming something. You know what I mean? I'm not even entirely sure where they filmed this. I know it's set in Pennsylvania, but so he was just out of town filming, and then he and my son will catch up. He does a lot more on set tutoring now than
wow. I
going
can
to
just
school.
imagine though, how a kid gets with your son and they talk about kid stuff, which is whatever that may be. You mean to tell me there wasn't like, hey, you won't believe this, I'm in a movie where mom and dad stab each other with forks repeatedly?
No, I don't think he goes into those details.
I would absolutely do that.
And after I saw it, the first thing I told my son was like, "Oh, I saw Carrie's movie, but you can't see it." And he said, "Oh, I don't want to see it." My son's he's 10 now, so he was like 9 when I saw it, I think. So he was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know. He doesn't want to see that." It's like his friend Carrie used to be on Days of Our Lives. So if he really wants to see him on screen, you could probably pull up some old episodes. He's got some wild stuff coming up that I can't. Sorry, let me just finish my thought. He's got some wild stuff coming up that I know I can't talk about. So there'll come a point where I'm like, oh yeah, he's in this thing, and you guys are going to be like, wait, what? But anyway, what were you going to say, Lucy?
I was going to say, I think that a 10-year-old would probably be less likely to want to watch Days of Our Lives, but whatever.
Oh, this is way better than Days of Our Lives. Yeah.
Ever
since they killed off Dr. Drake Ramore, I don't think anybody's wanted to watch Days of Our Lives. What were you going to say?
I should have asked you this beforehand. There's spoilers in this, right? It's okay if we spoil.
I mean, the movie came out in August.
Okay, good. So the horrific scene when Aunt Gladys is destroyed. I'm wondering if your kid's friend, the kid who plays Alex, what did you say his name was? Carrie?
Carrie, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if Carrie actually watched that. I mean, I would, if I'm his mom and dad, I wouldn't want him to actually see it after it's all edited together. I imagine when they were making it, it was, what it was is a prosthetic, whatever setup. And then it was silly.
It is a good question. I try to, mostly talk to them about kid stuff and not like
right
stuff. He did go to the premiere though. I know he did. So he's probably seen it now, So
I do know. I know that Amy Madigan has spoken, Academy Award-winning Amy.
Thank you for
Madigan.
correcting yourself. Yes.
I know that she has spoken a lot about really going to extra lengths to make sure that the kids on set were not afraid of her.
Yeah.
Which I mean, there's an advantage to making sure that the kids aren't afraid of you, but also maybe you kind of want Alex to be afraid of you because it gives really good performances. Not that his performance wasn't his performance was amazing. I'm just saying it's hard to kind of toe the line with kids in that age bracket, where they're not afraid of you when the cameras are off, but they have to be either controlled by you or afraid of you when the cameras are on.
Yeah, I mean, there is that level of method acting where you kind of want somebody to not get comfortable being around you if they're supposed to be terrified. You have assholes like Jared Leto that take it too far. That it's like he left a dead rat in Will Smith's trailer, something like that. And he's like, because I'm the Joker. I'm like, no, you're not. And if anybody's checking this out and hasn't seen this film, this is Aunt Gladys. This is not Zane on a Thursday night. This is not Kristi Noem's husband. This is Aunt Gladys. This is Academy Award winner Amy Madigan in the film Weapons. And it starts off, she's just kind of like a creepy old lady. You know what I mean? And there's like layers and levels to watching this character where there's a certain point that you go like, oh, no, she's not just weird, and there's a reason she got nominated. There's a reason she won. And I don't know. I mean, Lucy, Zane doesn't care about awards. He wins so many, but a movie in this genre for an actor of any degree to win an Academy Award for it is very impressive, right?
It really is. Horror frequently does not get looked at by the Academy at all. So I was pretty excited about this win for Amy and for the movie itself. I went back and rewatched this just this week so that I could have it fresh in my memory. And I truly was astonished by her performance. She has so many layers to her. That's not the only kind of physical version that we get of her. We get to see some other appearances that she has. And she toes the line so wonderfully from being the eccentric aunt, like you were describing, to being this terrifying witch-like creature. And it's so masterful, you almost don't notice when the switches are.
Yeah, and Hamilton Berger asks an important question. More layers to her character or to her makeup? The answer is yes. By the way, Chris Tuthill said, Macaulay Culkin was a scary kid in The Bad Son. Definitely not an easy role for a kid. And prior to that, he said that his dad let him watch Child's Play and Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Sorry, Nightmare on Elm Street at 5. He'll be fine. I'm mostly okay. Yeah, I only know Chris Tuthill from
your
the chats.
Dad's a psychopath. Your dad is a psychopath, Chris.
Yeah, well, listen, I think that maybe they wanted young Chris Tuthill to become a child actor like my son's friend. And I think he's probably seen movies that my son would never see, just, to help appreciate good acting. But what do you think of Aunt Gladys as you're watching the movie unfold, Zane?
It was horrific. And, there's moments when she's hilarious and silly. And I was like, thank God she's not being weird. Well, she is weird. Like when she walks into the home of Marcus and Marcus's husband, and she's raving about the house. It's ridiculous. And the looks on their faces, very, very funny. Because, in fact, earlier, it was Cayley described it as a mystery horror, also comedy. There's a lot of hilarity in this freaking movie.
Great point. Yes.
And Marcus becoming a zombie is one of those moments. Also horrific, because then you have this intense death that happens on the floor of the kitchen, complete with bile vomit and bashing in of one's face so bad it doesn't even look like a human being.
Yeah,
so, that's up there in my top favorite vomit scenes in all movies. I gotta be honest with you.
By the way, did you do an episode of Once Over with Cayley where you ranked your favorite vomit scenes? Because if you didn't, let's pencil that in for sometime this spring. Because I would like to.
I like that idea a lot. I talk about vomit scenes a lot.
Okay. For me, number one is still Monty Python and the Meaning of Life. It is just wafer thin, but
I respect that. But you're wrong.
All right. Well, it's got to be in the conversation. That's all I'm saying.
But the intensity of Gladys, first the early peaks, which are terrifying because Archer in the dream sequence encounters her in a disturbing way. And I forgot his kid's name. His kid's name.
Yeah, he says it a lot.
In the dream sequence. And
Matthew.
That's it. And then, and that was like right up in your face. And then there was a mid-range scare in the dream again with, God dang it, what is Ruth's character's name? I always call her Ruth from Ozark.
Julia Gardner's the actress. That's the actress's name.
Justine.
Yes, Justine.
She has a not as close interaction, which freaked me out. That was the first introduction of her to the film, and then drug addict guy from a far away sees her, and she's just waving, and you're like, oh my God. So you're getting glimpses of her. And I don't remember if that was before she was actually introduced to Marcus, that's your first real introduction to Gladys. You've only seen snippets and far, close, medium, when she's arriving at the house, but so off-putting. And I know how evil she is. So it really kind of scrambled my eggs. Every bit about that character was just so fantastic.
Yeah. And we're talking a little bit about some of the cast, and I will, of course, as longtime subscribers to this channel or my podcast know that I will always try and find what's the nerdiest angle I can find for a film. So Weapons, I was already going to go see it, but I was like, oh, okay. But this movie also has Thanos, Josh Brolin, the Silver Surfer, Julia Gardner, Wong from Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Wong, and Alden Ehrenreich, who was young Han Solo in the Solo movie. So honestly, I just needed to know there were a bunch of nerds in it, and it was going to check all my boxes. But everybody's great at it. So that was, a little bit, it was like a cherry on top. That was gravy, basically, because I was just like, oh, I want to see a bunch of nerds. And Lucy, every time you hear me say something like that, do you just silently judge me that I'm an even bigger nerd than you think I am?
I was thinking about Eric Zane the whole time.
I know that's usually how it goes. You know,
Yeah, it
in
was
fact,
horrible.
for
It was
our
the
visual
worst.
audience, let me not keep the two of you
Yeah,
separated any
smart,
longer.
smart, smart.
Yeah,
Hey,
smart.
can I jump in real quick
Please
with
do.
one? It just dawned on me because in my brain, when you said that Carrie, the kid who played Alex,
Yes.
who you have a connection with through your son, saw the film. I mean, there was it was a very short burst, but it was quite an intense bit of boning between the cop
Oh, yes.
I
and
forgot
Julia
about that.
Garner's
Yeah.
character. I mean, that's
Justine. Yeah. You know what? But I don't know. I mean, it's like he's been an actor for a long time and he knows, pretend, but pretend vomit still looks pretty gross, pretend boning doesn't look like actual boning, I think. But
he's probably at the age where he's more terrified of that than his parents are of him seeing it.
yeah, that's probably true. So yeah, and look, the reason, there's a few reasons this movie works. The idea is very interesting. So like we see that, I think the first thing anybody knew about it was the poster that we would see, in the theater, or you would see, at least where I live, there's a lot of billboards, and you just see that there's this movie called Weapons, and these kids are all like running down the street. So you know what the idea of the concept of the movie is before you see it. And Chris Tuttle, you learn something every day. I never knew Josh Brolin was Thanos. Yeah, he was also Cable in Deadpool 2, but whatever. So, and you see this, and it's already intriguing to me. I'm like, yeah, why are those kids running? And then there's text on the actual version of the poster that would be up in movie theaters that it would just be like, in the middle of the night, they all walked away, except for one of them. Why? Did you have any theories going in, Lucy, as to like, what is wrong with all those kids? Why did they leave?
I had no expectations, and I'm going to be honest with you. I thought that there was going to be a cliffhanger. I didn't know that we were ever going to find out the answer to why the kids left. I didn't even try to guess on this one. I wanted to go along for the ride the entire movie.
See, and you are always approaching it in that way where you want to know. I mean, sorry, but you don't want to know. Yeah. And Zane, you wait until afterwards. That's when you like, I've got all my questions.
Yep. And I was able to gather all my information and put it firmly in my brain because that's how it works. And now I'm kind of like a bountiful cornucopia of useless knowledge of the film Weapons.
Well, this is your time to use it. What were some of the most interesting bits of useless information, except for right now that we're here, it becomes useful information?
I'm always interested in the people who make the films. Zach Kreger experienced a horrific moment in his life. You probably know about this. He used to be in a comedy troupe, and I forget the name of the comedy troupe, but they were kind of making their mark on the world and getting bigger and better. And then
they had a show, The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah, and one of his pals who was in that troupe died tragically, and this has something to do with that. And I don't know if it's 100% known, but the actual time of death of when that all happened is not that far off, maybe by just a couple of minutes. Trevor Moore, I guess, is the guy's name, according to Hamilton.
Thank you, Hamilton.
Is right about the same time, like 2:21 a.m. or something like that. That's one of my fan sites talked about that horrific. And then this has to do with it coming out in the film. Not to mention all of the links to alcoholism. I guess Aunt Gladys is actually alcohol in this film, according to Kreger, because of its effect on him and his family, and it manifested in the film in an interesting way. And he was very open in talking about that. I guess he's got the thirst and has gotten that reined in, thank God. But here he is now making movies about it.
And heading into this, Lucy, you were a fan of Barbarian. And now, having seen both films, do you feel like you were in any way prepared for any of the elements of this by having seen a prior film by this guy?
No, not even a little bit. I don't think that you can prepare yourself for either Barbarian or for Weapons. I think they're very unique. I wanted to add on to Eric Zane's point about the time. So the time that the kids disappear in weapons was 217. And if I remember correctly, movie theaters were having their screenings at 217 instead of at a normal correct hour, so that they could kind of leave a little bit of mystery in that little Easter egg. So I thought that was a cool little fun fact about the movie too.
That is a fun fact. I did not see it at 217. I saw it in the evening, but I didn't know 217 was an option. That is fun. I assume they were doing 217 p.m., not a.m. though, right?
Presumably.
Did your mic just change on you or something, Kristen?
Well, the neighbor has their gardener, and it's very loud to me. Maybe you guys don't hear it. Is that what
that is? A gardener?
You can hear it.
Yeah, you guys can hear it. Usually I'm like, oh, nobody can hear it, but it's so loud. I'm like, they have to hear it. So that's why.
Gardener.
Yeah, it's not mine. Yeah.
I know it. There was something else. Did you notice that the child that was the asshole in the classroom was Matthew?
Yes.
Well, Josh Brolin's kid. And there's a portion in the film when he's like, oh my God, I failed you. I think that might be kind of like a nod to give your kid some time and spend time with him and be a good dad, because he might turn out to be a little dick like Matthew was in the classroom, always bullying Alex.
It's the proverbial cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and
right.
the man in the moon.
Yeah.
Zane's going to start crying if I keep reciting lyrics from that song, and we don't want that.
I know, Christian. My dad just croaked like a month ago, and here you are.
I know. But, you've got that dog on a couch, and so far on this stream, you haven't shown your taint. So,
no. Hey, I haven't done that in a while. And I mean,
you did it once.
I did it once, and since then, Carl's working very hard to destroy all the things that we built. So, that's not on me anymore.
You do make sure that you say that every chance you get,
right?
That all of that.
But we're not talking about low-level shows like that anymore. We're doing the Bladtcast.
We're doing the big time. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad everybody understands that's really what this is, and I think that so the movie works because the idea is interesting, and there are the twists and turns all the way throughout. So we don't really know where any of it's going, and I don't know. Tell me if you're wrong, Lucy. Is there anything worse than a movie that's built around a mystery, where like you sit down and like in like 90 seconds, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is what happened, and you're like, oh yeah, I was right.
Usually I really like guessing what's going to happen in movies, and sometimes I get it. Usually I do that more with horror than I do with, mystery, thrillery kind of things. Like I would put this more in the category of, I had no interest in guessing what was going on. And I actually was going to say, we do get quite a few scenes. Eric was mentioning, the metaphor of Aunt Gladys being alcohol. We get to see the character Justine going into the liquor store quite a few times, buying liquor. And there's one scene relatively early in the film where she goes into the liquor store and she's clearly about to get attacked by somebody. And you have no idea if it's because the movie is about to turn into a horror film, or if it's somebody who's mad at her, or, you have no idea what's going on. And it sets you up for this place where you're just kind of on the edge of your seat, not knowing until the film really starts to unfold.
Yeah. And, I think the takeaway from the earliest parts of the film is that this Justine is not a very good teacher. She's got a lot of baggage that she brings into the classroom, and into her married cop friend's life. So yeah, she's a bit of a mess. But I think that, but in the real world, teachers are the real heroes, but I think everybody knows that, so it's fine. By the way, one of the things that I meant to mention was that earlier, this filmed in Atlanta, and so my son's friend, it seems like half the year he's in Atlanta filming something or another, because Atlanta is kind of has become a hub in at least the last decade, and tons of movies are made there. So
have you asked him if his parents are taking his money yet?
No, but I try to keep an eye on what they're doing, and we went to his birthday party a few months ago, and they let them give the check to Carrie, and they never got. No, that's just a joke. Just having fun.
You did a great job delivering it. It was awesome.
It was fantastic. No, because this is what I need. I need somebody to watch this and say to them, "Did you?"
Yeah, I know. I don't want to get you in trouble. You don't. Whatever you do, don't answer my questions. Just
it's
let
probably
me
for the
ask
best.
them.
Yeah.
Don't just say shut up. That's all you got to do.
That is. So I think that it's very interesting, again, some of these characters that we got. Zane, you were talking about, we go to Benedict Wong's house. That's, the guy from Doctor Strange. And I forget his character name in this because Marcus. But if his name is Wong in the series of movies I know him from and his real last name is Wong, how am I ever going to learn his name? Now, you guys did. You remembered that it was Marcus. But like before Gladys shows up and they're just sitting there eating popcorn and watching TV, you're like, this feels like a very different movie. And boy, does it take a turn. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Zane, you've seen it more recently. Is that the first proof we have of Gladys actually doing something? It's the first time we see something on camera that's caused by her.
I think.
Lucy's not.
It is. Yes.
And
that is the first time that we see that she is using sorcery. I don't know how to define what she's using in order to control.
Yeah, I know. But Alex does figure out how to give her comeuppance. So Zane, if you and I are doing a live stream, it wouldn't be the same if Chad's missing upper lip didn't show up.
Okay, good.
And he says Atlanta is lousy with bears.
Yeah, he has another comment too.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to it. And of course, we show a lot of Bears clips on Who Are These Broadcasters because bears are very funny. We had to give them their own jingle because we would have so many local news clips where, poor son of a bitch in Altadena had a bear living under his house for like
Ken
6
Johnson.
weeks. Yeah, love that you remember Ken Johnson's name. And we got a lot of material out of it. So usually what I do in this situation when it's on Who Are These Broadcasters, I ask Zane, I think I might need a new prescription of my glasses. What does Chad's missing upper lip say here?
Oh, yeah. It says Wong. That's why Blatt likes this movie. He has the yellow fever.
I don't even know what that means.
No.
Does he mean malaria? I'm
not sure.
I'm not quite sure what he's getting at. Yeah. But,
have you ever seen any of the discussions about comedy used in this film? We referenced, the scene in the kitchen where it goes from the nuttiness with Marcus and his husband to absolute disgusting horror. But one of the things that I saw was Rowan Atkinson he didn't talk about this movie specifically, but he said in film, anything that is close is not nearly as funny. If you take a scene that's up close and you pull it back, so you see you see like landscape and houses and things like that, it becomes hysterical. And that's what they did in this film with Aunt Gladys's demise. As soon as the kids snap the stick, you're only seeing her in these Keystone Cops hijinks scenes when she's running through homes and there's kids chasing her. It's hysterical.
Busting down fences.
Yeah, it's a great lead up to when she actually gets tackled by the one psycho kid, and then it's on.
Just destroyed. Yeah. Well, listen, and I am a huge admirer of Rowan Atkinson's work. He's absolutely right, because he's not just Mr. Bean. He's also Blackadder. And yes, I think that Mr. Bean knows comedy because, that character barely talks. And we could use more Mr. Bean. I don't know. Let's get more content out of Rowan Atkinson. What is he, like 70? Come on. But yeah, I think that it is played up for oh, wow, she's really going to get it. But Lucy, to Zane's point, it's really funny to watch her. It's like, it actually reminded me of the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he has to try to get back home from the police station and he's running, through all the yards. But just a terrible nightmare version of that.
Yeah. A lot of people really disliked the end of this movie. I was quite the fan of it, but the major criticism that I have heard of Weapons has been that people didn't really like the end of it because it does kind of come out of left field. And it is a little bit goofy and it is a little bit silly before it gets really gross and really cool, and the effects are amazing. But I really enjoy the payoff of that scene, of that sequence.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if she gets away and all those children don't get their hands on her. I
Yes.
think
Yeah.
would be kind of a bummer, don't you think? So yeah, I think that. Did you get any? I'm sorry, Zane. Did you from your other independent research, as we can call it, some of the other videos you watch, did you get any other favorite tidbits, or did
a lot of it was centered around the movie magic. When they murdered Aunt Gladys, the way the prosthetics and all the limbs came off, and then they filmed the whole thing and then edited the thing perfectly. Was all, I mean, it's amazing how they did it, and the amount of work that goes in when it comes to making a film, to all of that. The money, just the cost of that scene alone was staggering. For that moment. And just all the effects that go into it. It appeared like a lot of what you saw wasn't really done with like computers. They actually had riggings, like the scene when the kids were on the gate and the gate fell down. That was all rigged. It was hydraulics, how they did it, and it was shot beautifully. And all those little things, it's the stuff that I like about how it comes to making the film. Also, I learned that Kreger, he's notorious for these over-the-shoulder POV shots where you can survey the scene slowly, and he weaves that in with nearly every character in that. Drug addict in the woods, Justine when she's in the backyard looking around, and you're like, okay, I'm seeing what she's seeing. Okay, I'm safe. Oh my God, what's around this corner? So just completely get you wrapped up into the film the way he does is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think Lucy, you'll probably agree that that is a very effective tactic for trying to make us feel uneasy when we're getting this sort of over-the-shoulder POV of like, yeah, we don't see it coming up before they do, so we're going to be just as surprised as the main character is.
Absolutely. And again, his use of that shot is really interesting because we also get it in slower moments throughout the film. For example, when Paul goes into a bar to meet up with Justine, we already knew that those two characters had met in a bar because we saw that from Justine's point of view. But when Paul is telling his version of the story, we get to do that over the shoulder kind of POV shot. And it puts you right on edge because now all of a sudden we're in this person's eyes.
Again, Chad's missing upper lip, but check this out. This is a relevant comment to what we're talking about, and he's advancing the conversation. So thank you, Chad's missing upper lip. The slowest of a slow burner movie. First hour, I wondered why the fuck I was watching this movie. I wouldn't put it quite that strongly for myself, but he's just saying, like, the first hour is you have no indication where this is heading.
Oh, he's simple though. That's the dumb comment. I mean, how could you not be intrigued by that? The intrigue was so high. How could you think that was slow? Everybody was asking the question, what happened to those fucking kids?
Where are those kids? Maybe you'll like this question more. Oh, so Zane does research for this show? So, yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
I like it the way it is.
You do research for the Eric Zane Show.
Yeah. By the way, I sent Christian a great clip today that he's going to love. And we'll get to it.
We'll get to it
next week.
Next week. We'll be on Wednesday because I need a bunch of the famous.
And also Zane is trying to sound smart for Lucy.
That's true. Yeah.
Did you try to put me?
Yeah. Did you try to put the comment up, Zane?
I did earlier, and I know I'm not able to now.
Yeah, not on this channel, but on that channel you usually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. How's it going, Lucy? Is he sounding smart enough for you? Or
I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
I really honestly, obviously there's a lot of metaphor that could be interpreted through this film. I hadn't thought about the alcoholism commentary.
Yeah.
And I do think, obviously you said that was Kreger who was describing that. But I really, even as I'm thinking back to the film, I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a whole bunch of sense. So I guess that is kind of a question that I have for you. Do either of you think that there is a central weapon in this film. Is alcohol the central weapon? Is Aunt Gladys the central weapon? Is the entire point that there can't be one central weapon?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd only ever thought that all the kids were basically weapons, but they're not really weapons because she's just sort of using them so that, she can stay beautiful, which I think is entirely what EZ does to preserve his hair. I think that, dozens of children have wandered off into the woods in the middle of the night so that you still have that beautiful head of hair. But what do you think in terms of weapons? Lucy's question, EZ.
Yeah, I mean, just because that's the first thing I thought, that weaponizing alcohol could lead to weaponizing children, could lead to weaponizing adults. And I that's just what I read. I'm not making this up on my own. I don't have enough sense to do that. I think that's what he was getting at with that. And he also talked about, he referenced it through the scene where the ants have the fungus in them when they're watching that scene at Marcus's house, how the parasite takes over the ant. That's what was on TV.
Oh, right.
Right when she shows up there, and that's her thing throughout this film, is she's a parasite on all of the victims of her. So, and that's also, I think, part of the premise of The Last of Us, isn't it? I think is a fungus.
Yeah,
is the actual thing that's taking over people, and that's what you were watching with that ant footage, is a fungus.
Don't ask Chad's missing upper lip what fungus is taking over our country these days, because I think I know what his answer is and I know what letter it starts with. But he does have this theory that using the adults under her control as ... weapons. See, Chad is being a lot more thoughtful and helpful to the conversation on this show. He's still insulting you kind of a
He's
fair
also
amount.
trying to sound smart for in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think he is, because if you were to get really the comments he makes on our show.
Oh, I see him.
Yeah, you do, because you watch. Yeah, he's kind of an animal. So,
well, I don't think he's trying to impress you with this comment, because I said the fungus that is taking over, and he said starts with a J, and I'm going to put a lot of space into the way I say this, ends with Ews. And he says, at least I admit it. Yeah, look, I think if this was me, Eric Zane, and Leah McInerney, I don't think Chad would be being anywhere near as helpful.
Well, I will just say, Shog Peshach Shamash to you, Chad's missing upper lip. Happy Passover, everybody.
It is,
Woohoo.
right. Exactly.
Today's the day, right? Or was yesterday the day?
Yeah, it starts tonight at sundown.
So are you gearing up for some parsley and salt water, Lucy?
I am.
Oh,
it's going to be great. I have a couple of Seders this week. It'll be lovely.
And we'll circle back to this movie for a moment, but I know from the show we do together, you have a couple of quick Passover / Easter movie weekend recommendations. I would like you to share them with our audience.
Yes. Well, obviously, 10 Commandments is a great one.
Sure.
That's a must watch every year. Charlton Heston, directed by Cecil B. DeMille. Amazing. You got to watch it. And I also really love a movie called When Do We Eat? That is about a Passover Seder where the patriarch of the family gets dosed by drugs by his children, and then they all deal with that. It's a very cute little comedy. And Christian, you made me watch a movie.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about the other one. You made me watch, what is it? Beaster Day Cotton Hell. I don't know. It's on TV. I would recommend.
Yeah.
Beaster Day. Know the title.
No. Well, it's because it's clunky. Beaster Day. Here Comes Peter Cottonhell, and it's a great title for an Easter film. And yeah.
My other
and by
one
the way,
that I forgot, that was my big one that I was all excited that I watch every year. It's called Gone with the Pope. It's still,
I was gonna. That was the one I was. That's the one I know.
I was like, what movie does he want me to talk about?
Gone with the Pope.
Gone with the Pope, which stars Duke Mitchell, and it's about a ex-convict who decides that he is going to hold the Pope ransom in exchange for $1 from every Catholic in the world. And it's a really, really crazy little
love
gangster
that
movie.
premise.
Yeah.
And if only every Catholic in the world would give $1 in super chats to Who Are These Broadcasters Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Who Are These Podcasts YouTube channel. Just think about how hefty our 1099s would be. And Chad just wants you to know that you killed my Lord and Savior. That rack will let me allow it. So I think,
finally.
Is that a
Yay.
compliment?
Finally.
I think it's a compliment.
I think it
right?
is. Yeah.
Finally.
Thank you.
He's saying he likes your boobs.
Which that's the first time that she's heard that on one of these shows. So circling back to weapons for a moment, what I think is probably the best thing about the movie is that it does not have a happy ending. You know, the kids come home, but the adults are all still zombies. And then it's like, oh yeah, and Alex has to go live with a different aunt because his parents are worthless at this point.
Yeah. Someone else feeds him soup.
Do either of you feel like that was trying to open the door for a sequel of who's the new aunt that he lives with?
I hope not, because I like that it ended kind of shitty like that, because that's kind of how it is with booze. Not everything gets fixed.
Yeah.
I think if he's sticking true to what he was trying to accomplish there, you leave it as it is, and that's it. Pick up the pieces and move on.
To me, it doesn't really seem like Kreger is going to be much of a sequel guy. I think that he likes creating these very tonally unique films and then leaving them to lie as they're going to lie.
No. Well, I would definitely recommend anybody who hasn't checked this out yet. They should definitely see it. The Aunt Gladys performance is, top notch. There's a reason that she won, and she seems very lovely when she sits there at award shows with her husband Ed Harris, and she doesn't look like this at all. So I think that it is a bit of a departure. And Chad wants you to know that he thinks Lucy Does Dabbleverse is the best show in the Dabbleverse.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been having
Ed
a lot of
Harris
fun over there.
Oh, sorry. Just
go ahead.
I was going to ask you, do you think Ed Harris has ever boned Amy Madigan while wearing the wig?
Probably.
Well,
what?
No.
I mean, he's at least tossed her salad, right?
He has to. He has to have done that.
That's what Zane always wants to know. It's like, yeah, but how much ass eating is there? That when you're talking about a movie, when do we eat? That's usually what he says after he points at a nice juicy backside. When do we eat? So Zane, I'm glad you checked out this movie after it, won all the accolades. It won an Academy Award. You found out that I knew the kid at the center of it. What are some other recent movies that maybe the rest of us have seen that you're like, oh, I should probably check that out?
You know what I'm going to say?
I do, but for the sake of the audience, you go ahead.
Project Hail Mary has to happen like now.
Yeah.
I've got a weekend approaching me. I don't know my plans yet, but it's going to happen.
It's great. And I know, Lucy, I know you haven't seen it yet, but
Yes.
unless you're surprising me. But
No, I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, instead, you went to see Undertone instead. So that's probably my bad. You probably should have seen this.
And Beaster Day Cotton Hell, whatever the hell.
No, you can watch that at home. So that's, all that meant was, not like watching John Melendez on the internet. The Baloney Factory. Look who's here. We've got a celebrity. Krager's been given free reign in on the Resident Evil intellectual property, undoing the trash that Paul W.S. Anderson is not Paul Thomas Anderson has done. I got very confused by the W.S. there. But has the Resident Evil franchise fallen in disarray, would you say, Lucy?
I can't answer that question.
No, I know. But I'm not even hearing that. This is the first time I'm hearing it, is my point. Baloney Factory sounds like somebody who'd know. You know what I mean?
Baloney Factory has amazing taste in movies.
Yeah.
So if he says it, I believe it.
But I can see turning something like that over to Krager, especially after this movie. And by the way, every time we talk about Krager, I have to, in my mind, make sure people know we're not talking about Krager's from the Blind Mike Project.
Yes.
Okay.
Craig, the producer. Okay. Well, you know what? Baloney Factory is making some sense. Has the Resident Evil franchise ever been in array? Chad's missing upper lip, and I just learned something about it that I
Yeah.
didn't know. Saw Project Hail Mary with my 12-year-old son this weekend. The only movie I'm planning on seeing multiple times in the theater.
Ooh, that's a good review.
Yeah. And now we know he has a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And I'm so much more worried about the hate that he
Right. He should have the word Nazi before son, and then that would be an accurate comment.
No. The kids aren't born that way. And I once heard a song that said you have to be carefully taught. I think it was in South Pacific. But anyway, I think that I don't know, it's a great movie. And interestingly enough, my 10-year-old son saw it with not his friend from this movie. My kid has other friends, believe it or not. They wanted to take him, and I was like, he never would have said yes if I wanted to take him because it's like a grown-up movie. But he's like, okay, yeah. I'm like, yes, in space, it's really good, and he really liked it. And
Did you ask him about the boning?
No, there's not real boning in this.
Christian is
you
talking
guys
about
haven't seen
Project
it.
Hail Mary, and Zane
Oh,
is
you're
talking
talking about
about
Project Hail. I
weapons.
thought you were talking about weapons.
No. He still hasn't
Okay.
seen this. Yeah.
All right,
so
I'm sorry. I
my
can't
kid
keep
saw
up.
Project
I
Hail
can't-
Mary.
I can't keep up. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So Project Hail Mary is something that you would go to the theater and see, Zane?
Yeah, I am going to go see that in the theater, and I am also going to, I'm also going to see Leonardo DiCaprio in I Had a Bad Day, or whatever, or one bad
One
day
battle after another.
one battle. I'm going to.
Yeah.
I'm going to see that one too.
Yeah. Well, no, and I think that's tremendous. I think Lucy, you and I have talked a lot about that movie in the sense that there's a lot of great things about it. It's not perfect, but it was one of the better movies last year.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Hey, Zane, do you ever think you might want to see a movie called Sinners? Is that something that sounds interesting to you?
I've heard of this.
Christian is trying to trigger me right now, is what he's trying to do, because I hate that movie. I hate that movie.
I saw something. It started right after I watched Weapons. It was the next thing that started.
You were watching on HBO Max. I was
right?
too. Yeah.
Okay. So this is not good. This is the problem.
Yeah. I mean, to her, but most people really like it. I mean, you have to admit that, Lucy, right? That for the most part,
everybody seems to like it, but me, I thought it was a piece of trash.
Yeah. And by the way, and I've told you this before, but since we're here on the Bladtcast, I should mention, after you see One Battle After Another, please dip back in the archives to Bladtcast number 660, when I talked about this film with Leah McEnany, Eric Connor, and Husey, who, believe it or not, had been overserved that night to a level in which I've never seen him on a stream before. He texted me in the morning. He's like, I just finished watching the show because I didn't remember doing any of it. And it's like next level Husey. And it's like, yeah. Oh, no. It's great.
Gladys. He's Aunt Gladys.
Yeah. This is Adam Husey, the H-Man Hughes right here.
I love it.
By the way, Baloney Factory is winning over Lucy. If Sinners won Best Picture, I would have set my TV on fire.
Amen.
Yeah. And Chad says that One Battle sucked shit. Probably a little too woke for you, if I had to guess. Well, there's boning in that movie though too. So
okay, good.
So Zane,
that's what I used to do at one time.
Yeah, that's true. But don't let it discourage you too much, Lucy, because he's a big ass eater. Stuff.
I'm in, baby. Let's go.
I know. Promo code ass for hackamania.com.
Oh shit.
It's perfect.
So
I'm blushing.
Zane, we're talking movies for the first time, and I don't want to put you on the spot and say what's your favorite movie of all time, but what stand out as like these are some of the movies that, because I'm trying to get a sense for what you might like in the future. What are movies that you're like, oh, hands down, this is a great
movie? Tarantino, Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
So those two filmmakers in particular, I really like their work. The only thing I never really I've struggled with the film Tenet, with the Christopher Nolan film. It's I don't have the brain power for it, but
it was rough because in California that was when the only way to see movies was at the drive-in. So I'm sitting in the car and it's super confusing. And my wife wasn't even tired, and she just took a nap because she was tired of trying to think about the movie. It was too much.
Yeah.
And Yeah, the title is the same backwards and forwards, and supposedly so is the movie. But yeah, look, we're all able to have a stinker every now and then. I don't know, to put it in lingo that people that know us from WATP would understand, Lucy. Even the great Christopher Nolan has to put out a music special once in a while, right?
Yes. It is
Okay.
true.
But there's one thing. I love those. I hate comedies. I hate comedies, and I won't watch musicals.
Okay,
you referenced Rowan Atkinson earlier. What are you talking about?
I only referenced that because he was on when I took my deep dive on weapons, they mentioned all I'm doing is plagiarizing. This entire show is not my thought. It's someone else's thoughts.
Zane only likes his dramatic work. Okay, but I'm going to bet if you typically don't like comedies, is there an exception? There's like, but I saw this one, when I was a kid or was in college. I saw
the Blues Brothers.
Okay, that's fair.
That's a good answer.
If there's going to be an exception, I'm glad it's that one. Yeah. By the way, you know what you'd really like is Blues Brothers 2000. It's just as good as the original. No, Lucy, come on. I wanted to watch it. Stop it. Oh, you'd be so angry if you showed up to do the show with me on a Tuesday. It's like, you son of a bitch. You told me to see Blues Brothers 2000. So yeah, it might not be good. Again, my prescription's not working. I don't quite know what's going on here. Zane, what is Chad's missing upper lip saying in here?
Yeah, he says, how many cars did your wife crash into at the drive-in? Now, I think you were probably alone, weren't you?
No, I said she took a nap during it. Yeah.
Oh, you did say that. I'm sorry. I can't. I've exhausted my attention level for this show.
Yes, she was driving. Well, now I have to think, Lucy, do you think that we could come up with a comedy that he would see and be like, okay, but not every comedy works if you just watch it by yourself. Some of the best comedies are because you see them in the theater and everybody's laughing.
Well,
Cameron Diaz has jizz in her hair. If you're watching it by yourself at home for the first time, I mean, I'd probably jerk off, but you most likely won't be laughing quite as hard, is what I'm getting at.
I could imagine Eric Zane really liking What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, maybe the series also, but I could imagine you really like that. But do you like stuff like Young Frankenstein? Is that your style? Like what's not really?
I should probably put a caveat that there have been exceptions. Like The Big Lebowski is a favorite of mine.
But that's not a straight comedy, though. You know what I mean? That's because the Coen brothers, it's like, yes, their movies are funny. I mean, Raising Arizona is funny.
So Coen brothers films, I like those, but I don't like when I watch like Old School or fucking Step
I hate
Brothers.
All of those movies.
I don't watch any of those gag movies. That's just like I feel like a moron if I watch.
I'm not a big Talladega Nights.
I don't like any of that stupid shit.
I think Chad's missing upper lip is just trying to make trouble now by saying Jim Belushi is greater than John Belushi. I think he had a much longer career, but he only had a career because his brother died, Chad's making a great point. The Life of Brian, we were talking about movies that are appropriate for this weekend, for Easter weekend. And that is sort of the parallel storytelling of a guy who goes through basically the same things that Jesus did, but it's not Jesus as the lead in there. That's a Monty Python movie. What do you think of Monty Python? Not for you, Zane?
Well, when I was growing up, when I was a kid, we were all doing all the quotes, the band nerds and the cross-country Fs. That's what we would do, and then the jocks would beat us up.
Cross-country Fs.
If you
do cross country, you have to be an F.
Get together and go, knee. I'm the knight that says knee, knee. And then football players kick our ass.
It's only a flesh wound. What? That's your favorite? Yeah. By the way, I can think of a band in your neck of the woods that really should change its name to Cross Country Fs. Yeah, I don't want to say which band it is, but they don't have any lyrics. I think Baloney Factory is speaking directly to you. Get Zane to watch Greasy Strangler. Is this a movie you've talked about before? Because I don't know this movie at all.
I have talked about Greasy Strangler. It is a very wacky, very weird comedy. And actually, I think Baloney Factory kind of has a point here because there is some interesting characterizations that sort of feel a little bit similar to Aunt Gladys.
Okay.
So I could see that being It's a really weird comedy.
Did she do a good job selling you on that, or are you?
No,
like, nah,
I
I'm not
didn't even
gonna-"
hear a word she said. Awful.
You're just distracted by looking at her, right?
I was looking at the dog going, I wonder how Bruce is doing.
Well, that's all right. Look, there's not going to be any problem.
That's not a her problem, though. It's me. My brain is, it's a
Yeah.
mess.
Well, that's why we do a show where basically you have to focus for about 90 seconds. Every once
Yeah.
in a while, I'm like, hey, this is a long one. I need you for 2 minutes. And you'd be
Right.
like, all right, but there better be some bears in it. But the movie that everybody needs to see is Beaster Day. Here comes Peter Cottonhell. I'm glad that you saw it before I did. But now I know
It
what
is
I'm
on
in for.
Tubi for
Yeah.
free, and I will sell it by saying there are so many boobies in this movie.
Okay.
I think you will enjoy the boobies.
Well, I don't doubt it for even a second.
Yes.
But if people don't want to watch, demonic rabbits, but maybe they want to see boobies just in revealing outfits and, covered because YouTube terms of service, where can people find more of you, Lucy?
Well, before I say that, will you put the meme that I made up on the screen?
my
Because I'm
gosh.
really
You
proud
know-
of it.
So yes,
I put it here, so you should be able to share it.
Oh, it's here now. Yes. Okay, great.
I made this meme when Weapons came out, and I'm the most proud of this that I've ever been of anything that I've ever made ever, because it's a Simpsons and Weapons joke, and I'm really proud of it. And nobody cares about it at all. So now I'm showing it to you guys. So you have to suffer through it.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Do you
so
get
proud of
this
this.
reference?
Yes.
Zane?
No, I don't get the reference. I just remember the scene. But
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not. I don't watch the Simpsons that regularly.
Because it's a comedy, right? I mean, does that
Well, I
have
don't
anything?
have time to watch anything. It's a miracle I saw this film.
Well, there's only like 800 episodes of The Simpsons. I mean, and Lucy, let's be honest. I mean, how many does he really need to watch?
I mean, this is a great one. This is from the baseball episode, and Mr. Burns is taking over the baseball team, and so yes,
Okay.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
So our video audience is seeing Mattingly for the last time to get rid of those sideburns.
Now I get it. John Mattingly was in The Simpsons. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Mr. Burns wanted him to shave his sideburns, and like he kept shaving them higher and higher, and then it wasn't working, and then he eventually shaved all the way across his head, and Mr. Burns still thought he hadn't shaved his sideburns. So then it's like in Weapons. Yeah.
One of the best Simpsons episodes ever, but Baloney
Agreed.
Factory feels like you're a lost cause. I don't think so.
No.
Let him watch Pulp Fiction on loop and he'll be content.
Yeah. Okay. Start picking on me. Great.
Well, yeah, I know. It took 3 years for me to get him to actually, agree to come on the show. There's one word in Pulp Fiction that I think probably makes Chad's missing upper lip laugh. I don't want to use that word because I don't want to get myself in trouble, but it's dead, that word storage, and Quentin Tarantino saying it. Do you see a sign in front of my house? I don't know. I just feel like, Chad, I know you well enough to know you probably laugh like really hard every time you see it. But in 1994, everybody in the theater laughed. So what do we know from that? Okay. Now, all that being said, if they want to maybe see more of your memes and more of your content, Lucy, where should they go?
They can find me on Once Over with Cayley, Cayley, on YouTube and on Patreon. I do Lucy Does Dabbleverse stuff over on YouTube. I don't have a schedule for that. I go live when exciting things are happening. And right now there are some exciting things happening in the lawsuit. My prediction is that there is going to be a court date very soon. I think that the letter that Danny recently filed in the lawsuit where Stuttering John Melendez is suing Carl and Julie, I think that is going to get a court date pretty soon. So we're going to have lots of updates on that. So make sure that you're subscribed and notifications are on, since there's no schedule.
And you did a show with Miss Judy where you talked about our buddy Afro Man. Remember how we got to celebrate Afro Man, Zane, not too long ago, his big court victory.
One of my favorite things.
Well, I just love that he did a song about cop and he's a son of a bitch and that's why I fucked his wife. And free speech, God love it. You can say that. Baloney Factory, Dead Squirrel Storage. It's close, very close. Eric Zane, in addition to being the regular co-host for me on Who Are These Broadcasters? Tuesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, except for next week when it's on Wednesday, because I want to have lunch with Dennis Miller. Where else can you be found?
My daily show is on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. But since we're talking movies, you can go back to the 2008 comedy film directed by Antonijus Prizovic, Fraternity House, to see me in that film. Chris, I bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Johnny Lechner, written by Joel Paul Reisig. It's a horrible film. IMDb rating of 2.6 out of 10, but I'm in the film, Christian.
You are in that film.
If you look up Eric Zane IMDb, you will see my entry right at it. I've known you for 3 years. I've never told you this.
I never knew that. The only film I ever saw you in, you did this.
It's my little dance called Stir the Chili.
So, Lucy, do you love him more or less, about the same?
Like 100 times more.
That's kind of what I figured. I mean, how old is that clip that you have black hair in it, by the way?
I know, it's ridiculous. I would think I was 25.
Yeah. This is why I'm constantly running into storage issues with my laptop, because I don't delete any videos. So, if I need to, like, where's Zane stirring the chili? I just have to get that thing. And of course, subscribe to the Bladtcast, Bladtcast. Our previous episode, Lucy and I discussed Undertone. We had a roundtable. I had a roundtable with a bunch of people talking about the 50th anniversary of Kiss Destroyer, which does include Detroit Rock City, a song that Easy you've parodied. So
yes. By the way, on the radio today, I played "And Then She Kissed Me" from Kiss's Love Gun album.
Yeah,
Christian.
I
I
know
love that song.
I was going to say,
That was at my first wedding. That was our first dance song.
How many weddings have you had?
Not too many. Not enough. Also,
not enough. But Zane, you could always be number 4 or 5. Okay, Chad actually is making a good point. The reason my laptop is slow is because of all the CP.
Of that kid that was in Weapon.
Okay, but to be fair, that is definitely not true. Chad's missing upper lip. Blatt big dicking Zane in front of Lucy, dropping Miller's name. Sounds like war. No, if I was trying to humiliate Zane, I failed, because that's why I showed this.
It's my little dance called Stir the Chili. My little dance called Stir the Chili.
Yeah, I know. You have such a great voice for radio now.
Asshole.
I love it.
Stir the chili.
Such an asshole.
Oh, and yes, thank you, DJ Katie. CP equals cat pictures. In any case, subscribe, all that nonsense. If you want to check out Lucy and I talking movies on the radio, just message me. I'll tell you where you can find Is It Worth Watching? And I'm all over the Geekscape network talking right now about Daredevil Born Again. So you'll find that there. But that's all for now. Thank you again to the great Cayley AKA Lucy Tightbox, and of course Eric Zane, doing 2 shows with me in the single week. We very much appreciate it. And I will see him soon, and we'll see all of you next time on the Bladtcast.